Waves of thick red hair washed across his head. Instead of the prim mustache favored by most Hanover men, he wore a magnificent ginger beard that sprouted from his cheeks in chaotic exuberance. For the next few weeks, Frederick and Jette met each Sunday afternoon by the same privet hedge. They walked side by side through the park, past the fountains and waterfalls. Every so often Frederick would step away from Jette and break into song. He serenaded her with Mascagni, Verdi, Donizetti, and Giordano. He was a terrible ham, acting out every lyric as if his life depended on it. He changed from lovelorn Sicilian peasant to fiery French revolutionary with barely a breath in between. His histrionics earned baleful looks from other passers-by, their quiet Sunday strolls disturbed by this barrelful of song, but he ignored them all. Jette soon learned to do the same. With Frederick by her side, the rest of the world retreated into bland anonymity. Before long, the young couple began to live for their Sunday walks, the long days in between a gray sea of tedium. In each other, these two oversized misfits found refuge from the choppy, unforgiving sea in which both had been unhappily drifting. Frederick was enraptured by all of Jette's big-boned loveliness. He was simply grateful that there was so much of her for him to worship, and Jette loved him right back. She adored the lines he had first sung through the privet hedge. Per sogni per che mare, e per castelli in aria, l'anima o milionaria. When it comes to dreams and fancies, and castles in the air, I have the soul of a millionaire. It was Frederick's capacity to dream that dazzled Jette the most. When she was with him, anything was possible. Chapter 2. At least, almost anything was possible. For not even Frederick's considerable, if unorthodox charms were enough to win over Jette's mother. Snobbery ran uncut through Brigitte Fürst's veins, and she regarded her daughter's marital prospects as the means by which her family might elevate itself into the more rarefied strata of Hanover society. Brigitte had chosen her own husband carefully. Elias Fürst did not possess the dashing looks or charm of some of her other suitors, but that was what she liked about him. She knew that a man overburdened with qualities of his own might be more trouble than he was worth. Elias was a rich, hard-working lawyer, and that was good enough. Soon after their wedding, at Brigitte's insistence, Elias quit his law practice and became a judge. He developed a knack for handing down politically astute judgments from the bench, and from time to time he accepted small bribes to let it be known that he was a reasonable man. He was swiftly promoted. All in all, he had proved most satisfactory. Brigitte had not been so lucky with her daughter. Soon after Jette's 18th birthday, Brigitte had begun to make discreet inquiries about potential suitors for her, but my grandmother refused to sit and flutter her eyelashes at the young men who called. Instead, she either teased them or ignored them, depending on her mood. It didn't take long for word of her rude behavior to spread. The young men of Hanover were a feeble lot. Nobody wanted to risk their dignity at the hands of a precocious young girl, especially one who did not conform to the usual ideas of feminine beauty. Men wanted their wives thin-boned and frail. Women needed only the strength to lift china cups to their delicate lips, but Jette looked capable of romping over the Alps with a sheep slung over her shoulders. Gentlemen soon stopped calling. Brigitte had never forgiven Jette for sabotaging her plans. She had retreated behind the haughty frostiness of the Prussian upper classes to which she so ardently aspired, grimly hoping that the right match for her stubborn, galumphing daughter would one day present himself. It had been a long wait. By the time Frederick serenaded Jette through the privet hedge, Brigitte had given up hope of marrying her off at all. But she still had standards. It was clear from her solitary interview with Frederick that he failed to meet them. Rather than being the wealthy scion of one of the local grand families, he was an orphan. He worked as a junior clerk in a small bank. He had no money, no family, and no future. Appalled both by Frederick's lack of breeding and his affable fecklessness, Brigitte briskly informed Jette that she was forbidden from seeing him again, which suggests that she did not know her daughter very well. If anything, it made Jette determined to love Frederick even more. The young couple